Hi guys, and hello from the hilltop. I'm Rockstar Blue, and I want to welcome you to my channel, The Plateau Perfectionist. Today's video is my June 2021 plan with me in my Amanda Rachley journal. The theme for this particular month is the color teal, and I am actually doing very little, absolutely minimal drawing this particular month, and I will explain why in a second. So, in case you haven't been watching any of my other videos, this particular year I am doing a color challenge where each month is a different color. This particular month is the color teal, which is my personal favorite color. So I basically, what I usually do when I am trying to figure out a theme for each month is I will go on Pinterest and I will pull up that color as well as the word aesthetic, and I'll find all these different inspiration images. And I loved all the images that I was finding for this particular aesthetic, so I decided to kind of change up how I usually do my months, in that I did absolutely very little drawing, save for some basic, plant doodles here, as you'll see with my, just a couple of colors here. And then I just used my inspiration pictures as my images for the month. The reason I did this is, one, I absolutely loved my pictures, and two, I wanted this to be very recreatable. I know not everybody who does bullet journaling is particularly artistically talented, but I still want you to understand that you can use anything and everything you want in your journal. It is your journal. So something else that I also incorporated was these little craft paper. Something I bought myself for my birthday was some craft paper sticky notes, which for the calendar here, as well as throughout the rest of the spreads, I basically cut up and used double-sided tape in order to create my spreads. Also, in case you don't know, even though, yes, I live in America, I do my months from Monday to Sunday, and personally, the way that this June fell together, it looks really cohesive. I absolutely lucked out in this respect. I did include the extra little boxes, that's the word I'm looking for, boxes, here with the florals, just to kind of give the beginning and end of the month a little more cohesive look. Again, I did very little drawing, just some extra squiggles here and there with a couple of teal markers. One was a mod liner, one was a Tombow, and one was a Crayola Super Tip. And then I also included some extra quotes this particular month because I was feeling a little extra need for some inspiration. So this particular quote is, "Be happy with what you have while working for what you want," which is by Helen Keller, one of my personal peoples that I very much enjoy. And that was it. That's the entirety of this particular spread. I wanted to keep it very simple, very calm, and very recreatable if you feel so inclined. So something I did want to add that I don't usually do is a gratitudes log. If you haven't watched my May 2021, you won't know, but I have been trying to get into meditation. My big word for this particular year is progress, and one of those things is progress in self-care. I have my finances pretty much under control, yay to me in that particular respect, but I have noticed personally, self-care wise, I need a little TLC. So this particular year I have been getting into a little more physical fitness, yoga. I've also started to include meditation, and one of the things that a lot of the senseis and monks that I have been listening to on YouTube recommend to do is a gratitude journal or a gratitude log, which you do see a fair few people do that in their bullet journals, so I decided to give it a whirl this particular month. So, other than some fancy doodling when it comes to my fonts, which if you're interested in how to recreate those fonts, you can just Google fonts on Pinterest, and you can come up with here, there, and everything when it comes to fonts. And I just slapped a few of them together, added some double lines here for each day's gratitude. And then something I did feel inspired to do that was a little out of the ordinary was I had a single hole punch and I used it on my craft paper, on the sticky parts of the craft paper. So they just, stuck on for each day and then added a number for the day in question. The good part about this particular idea is that if I end up using over 2 lines for my gratitude for that day, all of these particular dots are movable because, again, it's sticky note adhesive, and I can move them around as I see fit. So I left a little extra room here at the bottom just in case that does happen, because some of those spots are a little bit small. But in the meantime, I think it turned out absolutely gorgeous. Something else I wanted to include, which was more because of May being my birth month, was I ended up doing a little more spending than I planned to. So to kind of recoup from that and reset, I am making June a no-spend challenge month. I do like doing a no-spend challenge month at least a couple of times a year. It can actually be kind of fun, or at least it is for me. So that's what this particular spread is about. I just made myself a little key with just some quick images that I can use a pin and put in there to show where I've had bill pays, when I put gas in the car, etc., etc. And that's how I'm going to use this particular spread. On the other page is the first half of my rolling total. I do a rolling total budget system in that every time I have a purchase come through, I mark it down and I keep a running record of what my current balance is in each of my accounts. And I cannot do a one-pager. I'm sorry, I just have too many things that come and go through my bank accounts. So this is in fact a 2-page spread. But unlike my normal spreads where it is across 2 pages, this particular month I am doing it front and back. So yeah, something else you might also notice about my particular editing skills here is I decided to change up a little bit on how I am editing my videos. And I've seen a fair few people do basically jumps, for lack of better term. So, if they're writing numbers or they're putting the same thing in over and over again throughout their page, they will just jump to it. And if you happen to like that and you think it looks okay in my video, by all means put a comment down below and let me know. If you don't like it, and also let me know. I always appreciate feedback. I am completely self-taught when it comes to editing videos. So, comments are always appreciated, so I know if I'm doing it right. Same thing with lighting. I am terrible with lighting. I try so hard. I bought myself a new camera last year. I'm still working on it. So please, be patient with me. In the meantime, I'm going to be finishing up this particular second page for my rolling total budget page here. And then there is a quote page, on the other side. So in case you haven't noticed from my teal inspiration pics, I'm trying to keep them all not just cohesive in their color scheme, but also in their aesthetic. I wanted pictures that were very calming. Weirdly enough, several of them I showed them to my mom. She said they are very retro vibe. And to be fair, I like that. So that's what I decided to go with. In the meantime, on my weeklies, something I wanted to also do in order to incorporate more of my inspiration pics is as each week progresses, the space above the mini calendar will grow, and you'll notice as I flip through doing my weeklies, there will be a different picture on each of those spaces. I thought that was a really neat little idea. I did also want to make sure that my habit tracker, which is here on the left, is visible for each of my weeks, which is why the tabs are the way that they are. I just decided, since I didn't do any habit tracking in May, I wanted to make sure that I was getting back into that habit for June. So I did just this little habit tracker here on the side, and I'll just put a little dot or a little X for if I did that habit that particular day, and keep on going, and I can see it throughout my entire month. So something else you might also, if you've not seen any of my videos, will notice is that I do my months month to month. I do not incorporate extra days from the previous or the next month. Hence why my first week in June has 6 days, while the rest of them have their normal 7, except for the last month, which will only have 3. Since the months were different, that's one reason, since the months, whichever it says, the weeks were different, each weekly spread is slightly different, and oddly enough, this is the only weekly spread that has washi tape. Probably because I don't actually have teal washi tape. I know, very weird, but out of all the colors of washi tape, I don't have a teal, which is my favorite color. So I went with what I had. In the meantime, something else that I also kind of found I kept going back to was my weekdays are written in black, while my weekends are written in white on the craft paper. And I think it actually gave it a relatively cohesive look throughout the entire weekly spreads. Something else I also tried to incorporate, at least in I think 4 out of 5 of my spreads, was a weight tracker. I do track my weight a little more carefully than I do just about anything else because it is something that particularly is important to me. So you'll see me add a weight tracker here up at the top, along with just some basic, plant doodles, and that's the end of that particular spread. So something you might have noticed is that I'm actually starting to run out of room in this particular bullet journal. Amanda Rachley journals only have 160 pages. I am currently, on this page, I am on a 120 something, so I'm actually running out of room. I could probably squeeze in July if I was a little thrifty on my pages, but I figured a good clean break in the middle of the year would be an excellent opportunity to go ahead and split my year, first half and second half. I have already purchased another journal. It is, I will give it a grand reveal in June, so I'll be expecting 2 videos in June. One will be a 6-month setup for that particular journal, as well as my setup for the month of July, which the color will be blue. Again, teal is my favorite color, but blue is a very close second. But yes, by all means, keep a lookout for that. In the meantime, remember, a beautiful thing is never perfect, and we'll see you on the next spread. So one reason I wanted to make all of my teal aesthetic monthly spreads here very calming is because I have been having some issues with anxiety. We've been having my mom has been having some health issues this past month, which have kind of raised my anxiety levels per se. So that was another reason why I wanted to keep June very, very simple. The school year is ending. Things are starting to reopen due to COVID restrictions lessening, So summer is starting to kick up, and in the meantime, I'm going to be very, very busy this particular summer, so I wanted something that was really easy to put together, really easy to recreate if you were interested, and still had that absolutely gorgeous teal tone, which again is my favorite color. So for this last spread here, I just used full-fledged sticky notes here for each day because there's only 3 days in the last week of June. I also wanted to incorporate a little quote here at the bottom, which was a bit long, so my apologies for taking forever to write it out, but it's basically to trust your journey, and that we may take as many detours as people, you know, the universe throws at us, but we will always end up where we are meant to be. In the meantime, I'm going to just let y'all enjoy the walkthrough of my journal here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, by all means, please give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe for more great content. And if you are interested, I am also on Instagram at The Plateau Perfectionist with underscores in between each word, as well as on Facebook. I do have a website, however, because of life, I have not been able to keep up with it as much as I would like to, so I will probably be taking it down in the next month or so. So regardless, I hope you have a wonderful month of June. I hope you had a great beginning of the year, and I hope the rest of this year will be equally as wonderful. I look forward to seeing y'all in July, and in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Bye.